I think the first part to talk about is prevention. And Cam actually suggested this, and I agreed with her. Like, I think we should talk about prevention because I think one of the reasons why people are shocked when or make it seem like you have to have an argument is because I don't think a lot of people think in terms of how do you even prevent being in an environment where that's going to be the case, right? Like, and I mean, whether it's at home or like, how do you prevent yourself being in environments where you're going to end up like basically being arguing with women? And also, I guess we could talk further later on about why, like the practical reasons why I just think it's pointless, idiotic, and probably even dangerous to argue with women. So we're gonna touch on that in a second. But I guess we can just start with um, can vetting help prevent arguments, and that's applied to everybody, right? Both male and female. And how do you actually vet somebody, right? And well, you know what? Before that, let's actually answer this question first before we get to that. Let's see, because I think we should let's answer this question first. So we'll switch it up. Let's answer this first. At what point does a disagreement become an argument? And how do you handle it? Let's answer that first, then we can go to like the preventing the arguments. And then also I'm gonna just drop the super chat. I mean, the link so people can come up, because I want to hear y'all thoughts on this as well. So we're gonna drop the link now. But yeah, at what point does a disagreement become an argument? And how do you handle it? So I guess we could start with JB's biggest hater. Go ahead, white man Sway.
How do you prevent it? I mean, I guess for
Your
me,
volume is your mic is really low.
can y'all really not hear me?
I hear
That's
you.
better.
Yeah.
Can you hear me better?
Mhm.
All right, cool. Um, I guess for me in my relationship, the reason we don't really argue, I guess I'm gonna sound like Anton for a second. I just, I pour into my girl and she just follows my lead. And it's simple as that. It's really no discussions for a lot of things. A lot of times we have conversations, we might disagree, but at the end of the day, if there's a decision that needs to be made, then I'm going to make the decision. You know what I mean? Now, if she gives an opinion or input and I agree with that input, then sure. But at the end of the day, like I said, I just have the final say, and that's just kind of how it rolls. And we understand that. And I kind of made that known early. You know what I mean? So I made a lot of things known early. I'm very intentional. I've had all the uncomfortable conversations with her. I think a lot of guys don't do that with their women. So you guys aren't on the same page about those uncomfortable things. And those uncomfortable things are the real things you need to talk about when you're talking about being with someone long term. Your ideals, your beliefs, this whole partnership versus the
Oh,
patriarchy
Sway,
style. Like you
you're
really
getting
have to,
past.
huh?
Well, actually, go ahead. My bad. Go ahead. My bad.
Oh,
Continue.
yeah. So I mean, I think when you're talking about arguments, when you have two CEOs in a household and you subscribe to that belief, you'll probably have more arguments. But when you have to understand it, is someone has to make the final decision. The arguments don't really stack up as much. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you like the cases is none. Like you'll never ever have an argument in your life, but you'll have far few in between. You know what I mean? If you have a 10-year marriage, you probably argue twice. So that's what I just think those are probably the two dynamics that everyone's talking about. You either have a one decision maker or you both come to some type of compromise. You know what I mean? But the compromise isn't always that simple because if one situation where you have to go left and the other one wants to go right, it's no like you making a curve or you're zigzagging in between. No, you have to go left. Or for one, like JB, you want to go left and Cam wants to go right. Which way are you going to go?
You already know my answer to that.
So
We going where JB want to go. Well, okay, fine. I'm not gonna be a dictator right now. We'll consider Cam's opinion, and maybe you know what. Now, all jokes aside, though. All jokes aside, it depends. It really does. Like I wanna just be typical Jonathan and say we're gonna go where Jonathan's gonna wants to go. But maybe there's a reason she thinks we should go the opposite route. And if it makes sense, then we might go there. But at some point, I think to answer your question though, at some point the decision to be made falls on me. So if she has a legitimate reason why she thinks, we should do this instead, and it makes sense, then it would be foolish of me not to do it. Does that answer your question, Sway?
Sorry, I did not hear the last part. I had
Say
something
what?
in my eye. I did not hear the last part of what you said. I had something in my eye.
I'm just saying, basically, I want to like I'm just gonna repeat it real quickly, right? I want to be the typical Jonathan and just say we're gonna do what Jonathan says, but practically that's not really how it always works out. I think it makes sense to figure out like what's her reasoning for something. So if she has a reasoning, then and it makes sense and it's better than whatever my reasoning is for my position. Then for me, it's foolish to just be headstrong about my position just because it's mine. You know what I'm saying? Like I think
No, that's a
it makes,
fact. Like I
yeah,
said
so,
that. I said
yeah.
I said she has an idea or an opinion that I agree with or is better. I don't have a problem saying, yeah, let's do that. And the same sometimes like I just give up full authority over certain things like cleaning. She just she does that. You know what I mean? So I just give up authority. If she says let's do it, buy this product, you use this or do it this way, I'm like, okay. Like I really don't care how we clean the house. You seem to know more about it. Let's just do it that way. So
One thing I don't understand here is who the heck made Cam? Who the heck made Cam number one on the panel?
she's number one in
Should I
my
give her? Should I give her? Should I give her a
heart.
spot back? Should I give her a spot
She's
back?
number
Sway?
one in
Yeah,
my
now I feel comfortable on the other
heart.
side, but I don't care. It's your birthday, so
JP's
All right.
ugly.
Anyway, what do you think, Cam? At what point does a disagreement become an argument?
well, first of all, I want to answer your question, but do you see my shirt?
What did I say, Big Daddy?
I'm so done. I'm so done. I'm so done. You're stupid. I did not even see that.
Yeah, so I just want to acknowledge that I made
Yo,
a shirt.
the shit that you spend money on is hilarious.
I made this. I mean, I bought the
Wait,
shirt,
you made
obviously.
that?
Yeah.
Can be doing the
Okay,
most.
that is
Yes,
Jesus.
I
that
do
is
do the
hilarious.
most.
That is hilarious. Okay.
And if the people can't see it, there you go. JB Day.
I I'm
You
feeling
are
so many
something
different
else.
emotions, like I don't know what to say.
She is something else, man. She's something else.
Um, Back to the topic. So, at what point does a disagreement become an argument? And how do you handle it, right? So, first, I think to acknowledge the differences between a disagreement and an argument because it's often confused or used simultaneously. And I'll just read some things so it's not just from me, right? So, a disagreement means that, or an argument, sorry, let me start with that. An argument involves negative emotions, right? Accusations, defensiveness, blame, anger, tears, estrangement, um, a word that I don't know how to say this. I'm not even gonna embarrass myself. Anyways, threats, ultimatums, etc. Right. So all these things that don't get you to a common ground. So that's what disagreements, are focused on. Just proving yourself right and not really listening to the other person. So a disagreement is something a little different where you guys acknowledge your values and that you want to come together for like towards to get to your common goal. And so, at what point does a disagreement become an argument? I think that when someone stops listening, right? If you're just so set on being right, and you're just not even hearing what the other person is saying, then you're just constantly just saying, well, it should be this way, rather than understanding why the other person is saying what they're saying and try to actually come to a common ground. And how do you handle it? Well, I'll just speak from a woman's point of view. I just think that you can't have like I think being argumentative is, part of a character trait. And if I think of myself without Jonathan, and who I was before him, I just wasn't that type of person to like be argumentative with a man, especially if it was outside of my relationship. And since I'm just not an argumentative person, it's easy for me to just sit back and at least listen. I'm not saying listening was easy, because listening is a skill. So, but I'm saying that I think that people, like especially women who are argumentative, are more willing to go back and forth with the man, because they feel like they can they can measure up with that guy with their words. And so I think that how I would handle it is just to like say less, basically. Especially when I'm in a conflict with a man or something like that, I would just say less and let him say what he's trying to say, and then like try to listen. And especially if it's my man, like Jonathan, like I actually like genuinely think that he has our best interests at heart. So if he's saying something and I'm not getting it for some reason, I'm not just gonna try to prove that I'm right. I'm actually gonna attempt to like listen to what he has to say, so I can so we can come to some sort of solution. And I think that if you're solution based rather than trying to be right, then it serves you better as a woman.
That's fair. You have to admit though that I'm not gonna do that to you.
Okay, no.
I'm not gonna do that to you.
I'm not perfect, and it took me some time. Like I didn't come to you obviously knowing all the right things to do and say. Obviously,
That's all right. That's all right.
Just be you, Cam. If he don't love you for you, he don't really love you.
right.
Cheeky.
Hey, Cheeky.
What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. We are answering this question right now. At what point does a disagreement become an argument, and how do you handle it? And I think you have an idea of like what inspired this show. It kind of started from that conversation this weekend. And when I said that I don't argue, everybody was saying cap, and I found it interesting. And it's funny because I know you and I actually are on the same page about this in a lot of ways. And it's interesting because there's a lot of overlap in terms of how we see the world that makes it obvious to me why you get it. But a lot of other people just like, you sound crazy. Like, how do you not argue? I don't argue with, like, I'm not going to sit there and argue with Cam. You got me effed up if you think I'm going to sit there and argue with Cam. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But it's funny to me that it's like, that sounds strange to a lot of men. Because I think it's probably because in their lives, like they can't see it, but we'll get to that. But I'm just curious, to start, at what point does a disagreement become an argument, and how do you handle it?
So when it comes to like it really just depends on the stance or the principle of whatever the person, whoever is in charge, which in this case would be me, is willing to hear a second opinion. Like certain things, I'm not trying to hear what you think. It's not what you think anymore. This is what's happening. Either you do it or that's it. All right. That's an argument to me. Right. A disagreement, I leave room for interpretation, different understanding, different insight, another option, just a disagreement leaves room for you to have a thought or opinion, right? That I have to validate it to some degree or even accept. Argument is, this is what it is, and if you don't accept it, then we're just clashing. But that'll never happen, because either you accept this or you get out. You accept this or there's no conversation. You accept this or you don't, and this may be the way. This may be where we just go. And for me, I don't argue with women either. Like, that's crazy. I'm not gonna argue with lesser creature or being, because that's how I see
Damn, Kiki,
women.
they about to cancel you, bro.
Yeah, I know. I'm waiting for people to come at Cheeky. Like,
I mean, but
Please take my spot, Chiggy.
what I,
no.
Please
but I
take
don't,
my spot.
and what I mean by that is not like, intrinsic
This is
value. I
the
mean
Cheeky
that,
show now.
what I mean by that is not intrinsic value. It's in the context of a relationship, right? There's only one person. There's only one person that has the official say so, and it's not you as a woman. It's just not happening. At least not in my relationship, right? There are some men that are lesser beings. It just happened not to be me. So,
Just lesser
shout out to the
beings
strong
talk.
women that run their relationships and their men to the ground. But I'm not one of them. I'll fight to the death, tooth and nail, and you're gonna have a hard, long, intellectual battle. Just dealing with somebody like me, so I'm not the one. Maybe you could try that with Will Smith,
Kenshawn.
but not me.
Kenshawn.
Nah,
Oh,
leave
man.
Kenshawn alone.
Don't
Man,
bring
ain't do no
Sean up in
keys.
this, man. Leave that brother alone.
Yeah, that was the JB's hater. Wait, I thought about something else while you guys are like talking in. Okay, so and right, if you guys didn't notice before, I am a woman. I identify as a woman, born woman.
What?
So as a woman, I would say that for me, like the reason why I don't see myself arguing with Jonathan is because I see him as the authority. Like I wouldn't argue with my mother. I wouldn't argue with my father. Maybe if I was some sort of naive child, then I maybe, and I didn't know any better. But so I just don't see myself like putting myself up there in that position to say, I could, say this and this and that to you, and I expect you to do what I say. Like I just personally wouldn't put myself up there like that.
Yeah, but I got to call Cap Cam because, well, no, I'm not gonna call Cap. I'm not gonna call Cap. I'm just gonna say this. You're not wrong, and it's not like you're telling a lie. But I think a big part of it also is just because, I mean, at this point, and we're just being honest. Like at this point, you already know like this is not a line to cross with me.
Well, yeah,
because you have definitely. Because let's not act like you haven't tried.
See,
of course I've tried because women will test you, and
so you were testing me.
Well, not intentionally,
for sure.
But
nah, she was definitely testing you, JB.
It's not intentional. That's what I'm saying. But just
Cam,
the way I am,
you don't have to walk into that trap.
Yeah, Cam, look. Here's the thing that people need to understand with the words I just said. There's nuance to it, and there's understanding that me as an individual has to display as the leader of the household or the leader of the relationship or whatever you want to call it. All right, don't take what I say and say she doesn't feel like she can express herself, and this is not a safe place for her to be a woman and get her feelings out and all. No, I take that into consideration, right? I think the thing that, if you notice, every woman has that moment. Every woman has those moments where she gonna buck up, but you got to strike her down with no fear and put the fear of God in her, so that this doesn't happen again, right? And it can't be one of those things where you're bluffing. As a man, I don't bluff. If I don't want to talk to you or deal with you ever again in your life, you've seen this happen, right? And I don't care. Right? I don't care about the amount of time, the amount of years, the amount of money. I'm a man of principle. So if my principle is broken, nothing comes above my principle. Nothing. No one, no human being, no one besides God himself. But he's the one that gives me my principle. So if you choose to accept the principles that I put forth, then that means you accept the things that come with everything that I say and do. And if I make a mistake, I'm willing to hold that, right? But because of the person that I am, that whatever mistake I make will be corrected. And I don't mind being the one to apologize for my mistakes either. So it's not like there's this, oh, this dude controlling. No, because she has options, right? I'm the person that tells my girl, hey, if you find somebody that's better, and she always go, oh, it's not the case. If you find somebody you think is better, you better go chase them, right?
Chicky,
You
what's
got
funny? Chicky,
you got the free reign. Look, I am, as a matter of fact, I'm the most liberating man in I think in any relationship. You got the freedom to do whatever you want to do, but just know if you're gonna be over here, that means you have the freedom to give up all your choices. And now, if you don't want to do that, I'm not mad at you. Just take your ass somewhere else because it ain't with me. I'm sorry, baby girl.